In its first ever interview after taking over the reins of India's largest telecom company, which is Bharti Airtel CEO Gopal Vittal tells ET Now that he is unruffled by the debt pile on the books of the company. In an exclusive interaction with ET Now's Ashwin Mohan, Vittal also says that clarity on the much-awaited M&A policy could pave the way for consolidation for the entire telecom sector.
We have not moved up the headline tariffs at all. What we have done is actually cut back on discounted tariffs. If you look at the discounted tariffs on voice, they're about 37 paise, but the headline tariffs are at 90 paise. So there still is headroom for moving up voice realization by cutting back on discounted tariffs.
All right, sir. What about data, sir? What's the future outlook as far as data is concerned? Do you think that will be one of the major growth drivers in the telecom industry, keeping in mind that penetration is increasing day by day?
Absolutely. I think data already is growing at between 17 and 20% quarter after quarter in revenues. Traffic is again growing. If you look at devices, for example, for the first time in the history of this country, the feature phone growth this quarter has actually declined over previous quarter, and it's all led by smartphone. So from a situation where 4 quarters ago, smartphones were just 5% of the total phones in the market in terms of shipment, is today up to 15%. And this is a big driver of growth. Second big driver of growth is increasing adoption of 3G, while 2G also is absolutely important in terms of growing data. So I think I'm always surprised at the pace of adoption in rural areas and small towns by young people living in these places on the adoption of the mobile internet.
So you spoke about 2G, so I'm tempted to ask you, what's the outlook as far as your plans in the spheres of 3G and 4G are concerned? Could you throw some more light on that domain?
Well, I mean, we have a strong 3G network. We've got 4G in 4 cities, and we are learning about this technology every day. So we will keep doing that. The ecosystem is still nascent, and we are learning every day.
Let's shift focus to the regulators. Now the industry is keenly awaiting TRAI's recommendations on spectrum pricing. Do you think that the trust deficit seems to have sort of reduced between the government and the telecom industry as a whole?
No, I think we are very confident about a very objective regulation going forward on many matters. We have been very pleased with the manner in which the consultation process has been done, both for roaming, which was recently done by the regulator, as well as the new spectrum consultation process. And we have given our point of view. There's been counter views, and what we really appreciate is the fact that it's objective. It's based on what's good for customers, what's good for government, and what's good for the industry. So in my view, I think we are very optimistic that the regulatory certainty that's going to come about over the next few quarters and months will actually be good for the industry.
So we saw a mammoth deal being struck recently between Vodafone and Verizon. How do you think the Indian telecom sector is placed as far as consolidation is concerned? Do you see similar kind of big ticket deals happening in the Indian telecom sector?
Well, we still have to wait and see what the policy is on mergers and acquisition. That is still not entirely clear. But having said that, I don't know whether there is an opportunity for big bang acquisition as far as we are concerned. We believe that in the course of the last 5-6 quarters, there have actually been, the top 3 players have actually garnered a significant share of the market. And that's in some ways a passive consolidation, which is always a good thing.
Last 2 questions, sir. What are Bharti's plans as far as inorganic growth is concerned? Could you throw some light on that front? Because there's been a lot of talk about you gobbling up assets like Airtel. The press has been speculating on it. Press has been reporting on it. Could we have any sort of a tinkler from you on that subject?
You don't expect me to comment on something like that. But having said that, I don't. I see that we are focused on organic growth, and that is really where the opportunity is, and that's what our emphasis is.
My final question is the $1 million question, which is in the minds of most of the analysts in the market who track the telecom sector, who track Bharti, which has sort of exceeded performances in the expectations in the past. But debt seems to be a mounting problem. Any sort of seen any sort of plans as far as debt reduction exercises are concerned in the medium term? Any strategies that you are looking to adopt?
We are not unduly concerned by this. In fact, we've just raised equity recently. The Qatari Foundation actually, injected some equity into we sold about 5% for about 6,800 crores. So we are not at all concerned. If you look at our net debt to EBITDA, they are more or less under control and more or less in line with many global benchmarks. So we're not concerned about that.